record on this.
Whoa. Okay. Okay, we good.
Yeah, I'm gonna start out and I'm gonna just do a little intro and then I'll ask you a few questions. I have to ask for your consent, and then we'll get into
No.
it.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Like cut or some shit.
Producción. All right, hold on.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. So run it by me, bro. Sorry. Run it by me, bro.
All right. Let's see how I'm gonna start this shit out because the instructions, like we made a guide for the interview, but it's all in Spanish. So your boy, I'm gonna have to
Just fuck it. We'll just fucking do the instruction in Spanish and we'll just jump into English. They'll be like, yo, these motherfuckers be speaking on 2 different languages. You're gonna go crazy, bro. You're gonna get an A plus for this shit.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Cut. Bro, hell no. I didn't know you could do that. I'm gonna do that mid class.
Yes, bro.
All right. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. All right. Playing too much.
Let me just. Fire is in BC, by the way.
Yeah. So hold on. I was thinking about that. We could ask him if he wants to jump in on this.
The thing is, I need 3 separate interviews.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say you probably need a 1-on-1.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Yeah, I need 3 separate interviews, 2 SoundCloud users and another user just like any platform, and I'm gonna do my brother for the any platform. But since I thought I knew some of you guys used it, so I asked y'all for that. So
yeah, mainly me and Fire. Fire uses it for the same thing that I use it for, which is what I'm gonna be like saying in the interview. I already got this shit fucking playing around my head.
And
but,
I need you ready to yap, bro.
Dude, no, I got yeah. I
Let me put a timer, bro. This shit need to last 30 minutes, bro. Like minimum, bro. So let me just put a timer on this bitch because every question I ask,
dude,
bro.
I'll just go on a rant, and then I'll ask you shit, and then you just ask me back shit.
Story, yeah. Bro. Like I need you to. If I ask you, what do you like about the app? You need to tell me when I was born. Like start. Like 30. It's because 30 minutes is crazy. I feel like you're not an NBA player or some shit. Like
yeah, for real.
All right. Let's do this shit. Hello, good day. I'm here to conduct an interview about the usability of the app called Soundcloud. We will be discussing the usability of this app and with an objective to see how it is utilized. First off, I'd like to ask the permission to record you for this interview.
You have my permission. You have my full consent.
Thank you. I'd like to ask, what's your name?
My name's Hiram Hernandez. I live in New Mexico, USA, and I've used SoundCloud for like 7 years, on and off.
How did you find out about SoundCloud?
So the whole thing with SoundCloud was that when I first came to the US, I didn't know what I could stream music on since I always use like YouTube or something. But since I can't be like broadcasting YouTube in the middle of class to my headphones, I was like, okay, well, I got to find something that's free because I don't have money. So then that's when I came across Spotify, but the ads got too much and some of those songs that I wanted weren't on there. So then I went to SoundCloud. And SoundCloud is really nice because it's been there forever and it's really used by around everyone whoever wants to develop a song or just listen to a song that's not on official platforms, because that's what SoundCloud is for anything unofficial or for anything like not known of.
Okay. So how frequently would you say you use SoundCloud?
Well, now that I'm older, I don't use SoundCloud as much as I used to, just because now I have Spotify and I can pay for the premium.
Mm,
But in Spotify, even there are songs that are just not there. No matter how hard you look, they just will not be there. So SoundCloud, uh, it's nice. It's really nice. It's still the same problem with the ads, but if you get the subscription, of course, you can get rid of that. But if you're just a free user, it's great. There's a bunch of songs that you never listen to, especially on Spotify. Mostly that I use it for is for like game original soundtracks, which are never on Spotify. And if they are, it's on an album by the actual artist itself and not by the corporation.
mm,
So then people themselves will take it upon themselves to just post it on SoundCloud, which is the niche part about it.
mm. So you mentioned how these people, like, you could directly benefit the artist instead of the corporation. Um, is
Yes.
that what you think is your favorite feature about SoundCloud, or what do you think about the app that you would think that is your favorite feature?
My favorite feature is just the availability for it. There's no, well, so far no other platform that I know of that is available as SoundCloud, because everything is in there. Really,
You think?
if one person decided, hey, I see this soundtrack or this song or whatever it was, they're like, damn, I can't find it anywhere. They could sample that audio, transform it into a file, which they can then use their accounts to launch on SoundCloud. I don't know if it's for free or not, but they can. So it's really nice for artists who are just coming up and they don't have like a label or like a close representative, like none of that. If you're just freelancing up and coming, SoundCloud is going to be the one thing that you're going to use, just because there's really nothing else like it, because it's like the free market of music.
You think the usability and like how easy it is to access to the music, and not just the listening, but also like the access to publishing and everything else?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really know if you need a license for it. I haven't done all my research, but I'm almost sure you don't, because I could make on my account, I could go to my account and then one of the songs that I like, I could splice that and reuse that for my own account and publish it out without a license.
Mm,
I know I can because I've seen other people do it. But whenever you go on official, for example, there's some songs on SoundCloud that have a little check mark on it.
mm-hmm.
So that I'm guessing what that is that it's more revenue for them because it's an originally made song and they're already collab with SoundCloud.
I see. So
And uh
like you could, there's ways that you could remix like made official music and make it your own with like whatever you want to make.
ooh, yes, that remixes.
Mm,
SoundCloud is also not only for the stuff that you can find for the remixes, also for the unofficial stuff that hasn't been released yet, the unreleased. Those are also really good for SoundCloud. But in the topic of remixes,
mm,
it's really nice because anybody can get on there, grab a song, remix it, and then drop it as their own remix. And there are tons of remixes. There will never be one song that you cannot find a remix of. Because if someone's listened to it and they like it, but they think they can add their own touch to it, they're gonna do it. I
yeah,
mean, they have
that's,
no incentive not to, so they just go out there, they just remix that thing, post it. So many people like it, they grab that same one, remix it again. It's the free market of
sounds,
music and for any creator.
that sounds fun. What do you think, since you mentioned how nice it is to use, what do you think is your favorite artists or bands to listen to in SoundCloud?
So me personally, for example, I could tell you my coworker, I'll tell you here in a sec. But me personally, I always use it for video game soundtracks, since a lot of them are not released on YouTube. They will be, but for on Spotify, the account that I use, it's not released on there. So I'll always go to the SoundCloud. It's my go-to. Um, any remixes done by big artists, for example, remixes by Lil Uzi Vert and Cardi, those are really popular for me. Um, that's really it for me. But however, for my coworker, he's also a really big SoundCloud user. I mean, he uses it on the daily. Like he's got playlists on playlists on playlists. He listens to about everything that's out. For example, Spotify, everything that could be out on YouTube. He always listens to trap, rap, and hip hop. And those are really like big categories that you'll find on SoundCloud, especially on SoundCloud.
Mm. So you mentioned that you know other people that use SoundCloud. What do you think about the community of SoundCloud?
I'd say they're pretty close knit together because SoundCloud is very either you're on it or you're on and off of it.
Mm.
Because the communities that use it consistently and that are on it all the time, I mean, they connect, bro.
Mm.
They'll be reaching out to each other to see, hey, this is the audio sample that I splice here. Let me send it to you in a SoundCloud audio, or hey, you can look it up right here. I mean, you can look up stuff that other people made directly from there. And even people that is like your cousin, your neighbor, yeah, you can look up their stuff immediately on SoundCloud if they made it like a day ago. So the community is always there. And even for the communities that are off and on, it's it's nice because sometimes I'll get off of SoundCloud and then be like, okay, well, I just didn't find the right remix that I wanted for the song, and well, I don't have the time to make it. So you know what? Whatever. 2 years later, I could go on it, remind myself, hey, let's see if the remix is up. Maybe someone actually made something that I like. And I go up and it's there. So it's always nice that SoundCloud's always growing. I haven't seen one song that just stopped being remixed or one person that just stopped liking SoundCloud.
I see. How about the devices you use for SoundCloud? Which are the devices that you like to use the most on SoundCloud, or just generally, what do you use to listen in SoundCloud?
Well, for SoundCloud, it would have to be my phone, just because on my computer I can access so many other things.
Mm.
But mainly on my phone, just because the phone doesn't have the same processing power that a desktop computer could,
Mhm.
and it doesn't have the same regulations for screen time use that a computer does. So
Mm.
SoundCloud is always nice because it's like pocket size encyclopedia of music. You could always go there, find whatever you want, quick look up, go play it. That's where I use it for. And it'll mostly be, especially when I'm at work, I like to use SoundCloud a lot for stuff that isn't released and for stuff that isn't known of.
Mm.
But that's the only device that I use.
Okay. Um, you said you mentioned the artist that you listen to, but have you ever used SoundCloud to find independent artists, or just generally like anyone that's up and coming?
Personally, no. My coworker has so. He's a big fan of Suicide Boys, and before they got popular, they would always be on SoundCloud. And then once
Mm.
they got labels and then all these deals, they went on to Spotify. But
Mm.
he was a real fan when they were up and coming on SoundCloud. And me personally, not particularly, just the stuff that makes it over the wave.
Mm.
I'll find them quickly looking up and then be like, oh hey, this person actually has pretty good music, and then listen to the rest of it. But consistently, I couldn't say that I have, but there's a lot of dedication that you can pour into it. Ooh, and a lot of interaction. I forgot to mention that. The interaction in SoundCloud is crazy because you can make comments on songs.
Mm.
So whenever you go into a song, there will always be your option to like it, comment, and share it, which is nice. And always in the comments, you can splice a specific time, like for example, like 40 seconds into a song, and
Mm.
comment on that and be like, hey, this beat's fire, or this lyric is just me. It's so real,
Yeah.
so real.
Yeah. Well, so you think like your opinion in regarding the interaction between the artist and the listener, like in the app, you think it's a very unique experience, or how would you compare it to other apps?
Unmatched. I mean,
Unmatched.
no other apps can let you interact with your listeners
Mm.
just because of that comment feature. And even then, I believe that if you go on SoundCloud, you can actually message people on it, but I'm not exactly sure of that. But you can definitely interact with other accounts, which is not normal in Spotify or most other listening platforms. I mean, if you're just looking to make your lyrics better or your songs better or your beats, whatever, post a song, have people listen to it, and then they'll tell you. Post
Mm.
another song with all the comments that they said, and then see what they think, and then get off of that feedback. I mean, it's great. It's amazing. It's probably the best platform for up and coming artists.
So you think it has this notion of like social media as well? Because in other apps that are known, I don't think you can do the things that you say that you can do in SoundCloud, like comment or in a very specific part of the song, comment on that or splice it or do this to it. Do you think that that is the like the principle or the main difference that you noted from SoundCloud and other apps, or is there any other thing that you would say that sticks out for SoundCloud?
Well, like I said, probably the availability of songs and the amount of interaction that you can do with artists
Mm.
are probably the legs of SoundCloud. I'd say.
Um, do you think that in comparison to the quality of the audio, do you think there's any difference from the other apps that you use?
No, not at all. Actually, I could say that I'll listen to the same song on Spotify and on SoundCloud, and those sound the same despite using the same headphones.
Mm.
There's never really a case in SoundCloud where anything is low quality, just because everything does have to go through a quality assurance phase. Like
Mm.
it's easy to put out your stuff out there, but you also need to be putting out stuff that is already well made. You can't just put anything out there. I mean, otherwise there'd just be a bunch of people just making stupid sounds on it. So there's always quality assurance about songs. There will never be one that's absolutely unlistenable to. I've had some cases where maybe it's like a little bit lower quality than the one next to it, just because that person used a corrupted sound clip, or the audio was just down, or he has his parameters to a different setting than the guy next to him has. But I've never listened to a song that was bad quality.
Does the app notify you, or is there something that you can check whenever it comes to the quality of the audio? Like, or whenever, or is it something that you can just tell out of listening to it?
It's something you can tell by listening to it. I'm not
Mm.
exactly sure whether or not the app does check your stuff
Mm.
because I have not published anything on it. I simply use it for listening.
Mm.
Um, but I'd imagine that there'd be some kind of notification for whenever your request got rejected, for example, is what I would imagine.
Yeah. So you've mentioned a lot of good things about SoundCloud. Is there any area where you would say that they could use a lot more experience or that they could use a little bit of help, maybe just usability or design wise?
Um, Probably a long time ago, the main screen used to be really convoluted and not very easy to navigate.
Mm.
Just because you would have to hit different buttons on the main screen to go to like your library or your settings or your account or your other songs or anything that you wanted to find. Nowadays, that I look at it, it is really nice because they already went to the bottom bar being all the interactives, and then the top bar just being whatever you want to see. Besides that, except for the fact that there's ads everywhere, but
Mm.
that's also understandable because well, the ads is how SoundCloud gets its money, and if
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want ads, you can pay for them. It's SoundCloud Go, and yeah, there's not really a lot of things that SoundCloud needs help
How
with.
would
They
you
got everything down to a science.
mm, would you describe uh, like anything usability wise, you as a user that you think needs a little bit of help, or do you just think that they, like you said, like that they've been increasing their game design wise and that they're doing a lot better than they were from the start? But as of now, do you think that their usability is the same or has it changed, or what is your opinion on that?
I'd say the usability got better. In the
Mm.
past, I used to have problem finding songs, or at least finding the ones that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I can just go on there, hit the search icon, and just search whatever it is that I want to listen to that day.
Mm.
Um, Other than that, I don't really have any aspects of the app that I could say are needed to be improved on. The listening is great.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you can queue stuff is great. They even got a station autoplay for whenever you hear a song that you really like. You don't have
Mhm.
anything queued, but you want to listen to stuff like it. You can go to the station for that.
The station?
Yeah. For example, there are stations about my remixes.
Mhm.
Well, I say station, but it's not like a radio station. It would just be like a playlist convoluted to similar songs like the one that you were just listening to.
Okay, I see. Um, so do you think, like you've mentioned, do you think that the way that SoundCloud makes it known or helps you discover other music, do you think it's a very unique way, or how do you think that they take that? Do you think they take that well, or how would you think they do that?
I think they take it well. I've never, yeah, I would say they take it pretty well due to the fact that there are mods on the app and it is an app made by a corporation or not even a corporation. I'm not exactly sure whether who launched SoundCloud became to be a corporation or a small time business
Mm,
because it's really popular and it is really profitable and wealthy because it's probably the top five used streaming apps on in the country of the USA at least that I can say.
mm.
Um, yeah.
So what do you think that SoundCloud could take from the users and to make their app better?
Um, that's a good question. Probably that's a really good question. SoundCloud doesn't do a lot to punish you as its user, and there's not a
Mm,
lot of bad qualities about it that I could point out, or at
mm,
least not that I could point out as a on and off user.
mm.
I would have to revisit SoundCloud and like dive deep into it to see what's really not good and what is. But overall, it's managed to get pretty even across all.
Would you say you give more importance to SoundCloud than other tools that you use for music or anything that you use sound wise? And if you do, why do you think that is?
Um, well, Spotify I use for my day to day music,
Mm,
but that's just because I'm paying for the subscription, and I've
mm,
just been paying for a while. And some songs on SoundCloud, and back when it was all convoluted, I didn't want to pay for a subscription for something that I didn't exactly like. And
mm.
Spotify was just the easier option, more widely available and more spoken about. Um, but nowadays, if I didn't have my Spotify subscription and I had my SoundCloud subscription instead, it'd probably be the same. It'd probably might be my day to day music. Really, the only thing that has me on Spotify right now is the subscription. If I could just change to SoundCloud, I probably would.
So do you think that the differences that SoundCloud has to all these other tools that you say that you use or you're used before is better, or what do you think they could do to upgrade their subscription system?
Um, I wouldn't really be able to point out any of them
Mm,
because the way that they do their subscription system is that they'll give you ads before you play songs, and
mm,
then they'll let you listen to a song, or maybe two or three at a time, and then
mm.
they'll just play another ad. And most ads are either for like other companies or other brands, but most of them will be for SoundCloud Go. So they're always advertising their subscription means. There's a window on above your library and your like songs that you can see that says that you can go SoundCloud Go there for 99 or something, whatever. But there's always something that tells you that you can upgrade, which is probably not that great because if
Mm.
you just don't want to pay for it, if you just want to use it freely, then it's always there and it's really just aggressive with it. So I would really say that that's probably the only flaw that the SoundCloud has, that it aggressively portrays its own subscription method.
Mm.
But it also doesn't force you to just get it.
Mm. So if you were to recommend SoundCloud as a user that you've said you've used it on and off, what would you recommend, or how would you recommend SoundCloud? What would be the thing that you would say that would make it stick out from from other apps, or how would you recommend it as a user of SoundCloud?
As a user, towards another user, I just tell them about how easy it is to find anything that you want in there, any
Mm-hmm.
song that you really want or any remix. You could just search it up. But to a creator, I would definitely tell them about the interactability of it, just because that's really, really valuable for someone who's making music and wants to improve at it. And SoundCloud is probably the best place for it since everyone can just give you feedback on it. Of course, it won't always be just good feedback. After all, it is the free market and everyone can get on it.
Yeah.
And but mostly the people who will be on SoundCloud giving feedback to artists are like people who know what they're talking about. Or even if they don't know what they're talking about, they're like, hey, I don't know, maybe this sounded a little bit off. This is not what you usually produce. I feel like you're like feeling a little down. And then artists can just take from that. I would definitely sell that as its main point to an artist or to
Mm,
someone who wants to use it for content creation. But to a user, it definitely be that how accessible everything is
mm.
at such a fast rate.
So you think the app is more about it is you have mentioned that it is a pleasant experience whenever it comes to listening and the accessibility or the usability that it has, and you mentioned that it has a decent subscription and everything, but would you say that you recommend it a lot more to a creator than just a regular listener, or what would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely recommend SoundCloud more to a creator than a regular user. Because
Mm,
as a regular user, for example, me, I could take it. I just use it on and off. I'm not
mm,
on it as much as I probably say I would,
mm,
just because I'm busy with other stuff or whatever, and I just don't go on SoundCloud and search stuff up.
mm,
But definitely to an artist and a creator, that has to be the best platform that you can make for music, or
mm.
at least to pump out music.
Just in general, do you think the app does a better job now that you've mentioned that you would recommend it more to a creator than a listener? Do you think that it is more of a creating app than a listening app, or do you think that it does well balancing both of these user groups and connecting them in a way that they can unify both of their experiences? Or do you think that like a creator would find way more like a way better time, or do you think the just regular listener would do?
It's definitely not an overwhelming amount on your side. It's
Mm,
very well balanced, simply because the artists need the listeners to listen to their stuff, of course, and then
mhm,
give feedback on it. And then the listeners need the artists to actually pump out music that they can listen to and then give feedback from. It's a nice loop that they have going on, and everything's working out pretty well. Um, if anything, though, probably artists have a better time on it than listeners. Not to
mm,
say that listeners don't, because as a listener, you can just go in there, listen to whatever you want, and then just keep it on repeat. But as an artist, definitely is the better tool made to create music and then have people listen to it instead of just pumping out music.
mhm. So this kind of demographic that SoundCloud has, or at least you've said that SoundCloud has, that it creates an experience between a user and a listener and an artist. Do you think that an artist can benefit a lot from that? Like, do you think that an artist is it really like an artist app, or like just in general? Would you recommend it more to like a listener, or would you recommend other apps?
Um, it'd be really torn between recommended Spotify and SoundCloud.
Mm,
But if I'm recommending it to someone who just doesn't want to pay a subscription, then I'd of course suggest SoundCloud. Just because if you're gonna be listening to ads, you might as well be listening to ads of stuff that you like.
mm. So do you think it has an algorithm that recommends certain ads that have stuff that you like?
Um, Probably,
Mm,
but nothing ever. Or actually, no, I'm lying. Sorry, no,
mm,
it doesn't. It only gives ads based on stuff that is popular right now. It doesn't
mm,
follow an algorithm based on what you like.
mm,
So it's not really spying on your information as other algorithms are. It's not
mm.
really identifying the stuff that you like.
So as a free user, you would say that SoundCloud has a way better experience than any other app or just tool for listening that you use?
Absolutely. The only other tool that I could think of would be YouTube as a free user.
Mm,
And YouTube doesn't let you listen while you have it off. YouTube will even play two ads before it lets you listen to whatever you want to hear.
mm.
So yeah, SoundCloud is definitely of free use apps. It's definitely what's up there top.
Do you think that as far as the just as a listener, because you've mentioned a lot that how you would recommend this to creators and that you have friends that use it for a lot of other reasons and they use the sounds, you just as a listener, do you think that there could be another feature that would attract a lot more listeners to it than a creator, or do you think that it's completely fine in that sense and that they're doing everything fine?
Um, they do actually have a feature called feed, which a
Mm,
feed is basically what YouTube Shorts is and kind of what TikTok does, the same kind of
mm.
tool, but instead it suggests you songs that are based on what you're listening to right now.
Oh,
So you could just go on there and then discover new songs that way and find out more of what you like. But I couldn't really say that there's any bad stuff. I really think it's fine.
would you say that SoundCloud is a just would you consider it an app for just listening, or do you think it's more like a social app?
Probably just listening.
Mm,
There's not really a lot of social media influence on it. I did say that you could probably text other people or message other people,
mm.
but that would just be like simple messaging. There wouldn't be like
Oh,
a whole profile that you can post to. You
is
can
it
post
like
songs.
inside of the song or?
Um, I believe so. I believe you
Mm,
could just talk to other users by whoever is listening to the song, and if they comment something, then you can maybe message them. I'm not exactly sure about that. I would have to check.
yeah. So you think that this interaction that it has is one of the highlights of the usability that SoundCloud has?
Probably, definitely for how easy it is to just interact with other people
Mm,
when it comes to the comments of songs.
mhm. To end it off, just in conclusion, what do you think that SoundCloud is or just does better than any other app?
Um, it's just better at finding whatever it is that you want to listen to that day. There's never really a case where you look something up and it's just not there. I mean, there will always be a title by that song in the
Hmm.
feed. The interactability with it, it's really funny sometimes because
Mm,
whenever you're listening to like video game OSTs,
mm,
it'll be like a bunch of comments saying, "Oh, hey, this is exactly where I beat this monster to,"
mm,
or like this is exactly when I got my final chest or whatever. So there's really a lot of moments on it that you can really interact with and you can relate to. And any song that you want to find, it's gonna be on there. I promise you. Any remix and even the unreleased stuff that artists are like keeping away, and someone just finds or someone just data mines it. Yeah,
mm.
they'll just put it out there, and you'll be listening to songs early.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time and just thank you for letting me interview you. And yeah, that will be it for me.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you too. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
We just killed that shit. I think did we do 30 minutes? I don't
Did
know.
we? I don't know, bro. I was looking at my clock the entire time. I think so. I'm pretty sure we did like yeah, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, I have a timer. I just paused it. It was a 40-minute timer and there's 9 minutes left.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So 31 minutes and 30
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
All right, yeah. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice, bro.
Yeah,
Talk to me nice. All right,
we
all
killed
right,
that shit. We killed that shit.
all
We
right.
did it. We did it. Yeah, it got a little hard though because it
Oh my god.
I do have to ask more questions towards like more of like what you're saying to me than the demographic or the questions that I have.